You are listening to the Harmonious podcast, the renaissance of Western spirituality, paganism and animism. We show the dharmic path and common origin of Norse, Germanic, Vedic, Greco-Roman, Celtic, Balto-Slavic and Persian beliefs. We also draw parallels to the Proto-Indo-European worldview and the ancient beliefs we call the religion with no name. The Harmonious podcast weaves the threads together to understand where we come from and let our true nature empower us in everyday life. We don't have to turn to the east. The answers were always right here. We are all pagan by instinct. Welcome to the Harmonious podcast. This is a spontaneous episode intended for our health and lifestyle group with the ingenious name Ayurveda in our Discord server, which you're very welcome to join if you want to deepen your Indo-European spirituality. You'll find a connection on harmonia.foundation/contact. I'm sure many of you have heard of or even practiced Feng Shui, the Chinese teachings about how the environment and surroundings influence everything that lives there. But how many of you know about Vastu Shastra, the traditional Vedic architecture and design science that actually is the origin of Feng Shui? This is a small introduction to Vastu Shastra, including some history and background, as well as some practical advice for those who are building or decorating a home, or for those who are planning to build a family or move to another region or city. What's important to know before making the decision. Vastu means house, building, habitation or dwelling. And Shastra means teachings or principles. So Vastu Shastra is the science of harmonious architecture, construction and design, or the science of where you're supposed to live. It's a body of ancient concepts and knowledge within traditional Vedic architecture and design. Principles of design, layout, measurements, ground preparations, and space arrangements. Basically a science of harmonious construction and prosperous living by eliminating negative and enhancing positive energies around us. Vastu Shastra was developed between 6000 BCE and 3000 BCE. And although for obvious reasons it's hard to say precisely, we know that it is at least 6,000 years old. It is thousands of years older than Feng Shui, and although they can be quite different, it is in fact the origin of Feng Shui. The Vedics first developed Vastu Shastra to understand the best ways of placing and building graveyards, so they were optimized for their afterlife. It was also a way to perfect the construction of their mandir temples. And it later developed into also including the layout of cities, roads, parks, gardens and houses. Vastu Shastra was later written down in Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. There are also many texts about it in the Puranas and the Samhitas. There are strong connections between Vastu Shastra, the Vedic life and health science Ayurveda, the Vedic astrology called Jyotisha, and even the yoga system. So the Vedic system is tremendously holistic, comprehensive, and all-embracing. All of life and spirituality is interwoven. Vastu Shastra strives to integrate architecture with nature and spirituality. It creates towns, villages, houses, gardens, and temples in harmony and in tune with Mother Nature, so that those inhabiting the place, living or dead, are well balanced, prosperous, and happy. It aims to eliminate negative energy and enhance positive energy present at the location. It is immensely advanced. It takes the sun, the wind, the moon position, the climate, and astrology into consideration, and many, many other things. In most Indo-European traditions, people viewed houses and buildings as living organisms and treated the construction of a house as a sacred ceremony. And the Vedics also named the spirit dwelling in the house as Vastu Purusha. And Purusha, I've mentioned before, it means spirit. So that would be the house spirit, just like the Lares, the Panes and Penates in the Roman Empire, and the Husvetir or Alfar among the Norse, and even the Kami in Shintoism. We spend most of our time inside buildings, be it our home, office, or anything else. And all things in the universe have a level of energy associated with them. And therefore, all buildings, and even the land on which a building is erected, have vibrations of energy associated with them. And this is what Vastu Shastra tries to tap into and optimize. Many rules of Vastu Shastra are common sense as they relate to ventilation, amount and quality of sunlight a building receives, etc. But some principles relate to the energy field of the earth and subtle energy fields in natural and constructed environments. It also takes into consideration the 5 Vedic elements that constitute all of cosmos: fire, water, earth, wind, and spirit, or sky. Air signifies satisfaction, joy, and happiness, which controls the eastern direction of the place or the location or the house. Earth gives constancy and stability, which remains at the center of the house. We'll come back to that later. Water connotes new thoughts, the stream of new chances and good well-being which rules the north direction. Fire signifies heat and light and provides self-reliance, zeal, confidence and power, and which exists in the southern direction of a house. Sky or spirit helps in receiving new prospects and considerate new artistic thinking. The principles say that if these 5 elements are positioned appropriately in a home, they will release positive energies from all directions. The house or location is split up into a so-called Mandala, and within Feng Shui this is called Bagua, which means 8, the number 8. The mandala is the 8 areas of that location or house in the 8 directions, so north, northeast, east, southeast, south, and so on. It also includes the 9th space, the center area, which is called Brahmastan, which is Brahman's space. And based on these areas of the house or location, you place different things and elements to get the best energy going and flowing. The entrance of a house, for example, is considered the mouth of the house. and therefore also the mouth of all energy that flows into the building. So this was a short introduction. To summarize, Vastu Shastra is the Vedic science of harmonious architecture, construction and design. Basically how to build, design, decorate, live and work in a house and the ground it stands on. It was initially a way to plan for graveyards and temples, but later also came to include ways to build houses for people to prosper in family life, career and spirituality. It is at least 6,000 years old, and it is the origin of the Chinese Feng Shui. And here are 6 simple advice for a better harmony and energy flow at home. Number 1. The entrance of your home is the mouth of the energy. This is where all the energy comes in, since energy, Shi, Prana, Megin, whatever you want to call it, it mainly comes from outside, from the earth and the sun. So this is what the energy brings with it into the house. So make sure the entrance is clean and has bright colors, and make sure it also has some meaningful objects to you and the family. Tips number 2. Get rid of old stuff from your home. Declutter as much as possible. Things you don't use anymore and really old things, they contain a lot of old energy and sometimes negative energy. So get rid of them to open up for new energy. This is also the law of attraction. Tips number 3. The center of your home or of a room is called Brahmastan. It should always be empty or very lightly furnished for the energy to flow in the best way. Tips number 4. Try to have all the 5 elements represented in every room, or at least represented in your house. Tips number 5. Always try to sleep with your head towards the south, and no mirrors opposite to the bed. I know you want to, but it's really bad energy. And lastly, tips number 6. Place pictures of you and your loved ones in the northeast of your home. Remember that you are your thoughts. You are what you think. You are what you reflect upon. And you will think of all the things and everything that exists within your house. And the energies will affect you. They will influence you. Remember to respect yourself and your family. Make sure your home is where you want to grow your roots even deeper. A place where you can grow in love, emotion, and spirituality. Make room for new things in your life, for new energy, for new growth. And as always, the divine in me bows to the divine in you. I want to thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe so you increase your harmonious straight away. You will find more information about the podcast and the foundation on harmonia.foundation. You will also find us on Instagram, Discord and YouTube, and more platforms will follow. Feel free to contact us if you have questions, requests or need guidance. I hope to hear from you soon and that you will tune in next time. And until then, seek not the religion of your ancestors. Seek what your ancestors sought.